Hey there, and welcome to Fat Daniel's Barbecue. Today, we're going to be cooking up a classic barbecue treat that just happens to be one of my personal favourites, jalapeno poppers. Now these little bundles of tastiness couldn't be easier, and they can be made vegetarian or non-vegetarian, so there is no reason why they can't be a spicy treat for everyone. All you need is some fresh jalapenos and some cream cheese. If you're making vegetarian poppers, you'll need a little cooking oil and some of my Fat Daniel's Dixie Dust seasoning. If you're making non-vegetarian poppers, you'll also need some streaky bacon. Now, before we get started, a couple of notes. Firstly, time and again you'll hear me say to buy the best quality meat you can afford for your barbecue, but every rule has its exception. Really good quality bacon is generally sliced a bit thicker and also doesn't shrink so much when it's cooked. Now, in and of themselves, neither of these are bad things, but for jalapeno poppers, we want to be able to wrap the jalapeno in bacon, which is much easier to do if the bacon is a little thinner. We're also wanting the bacon to hold the jalapeno together and stop the stuffing from coming out. So, a little shrinkage when we're cooking is, in this case, actually a bit of an advantage. So, while you won't often hear me say this, if you're going to make non-vegetarian jalapeno poppers, use standard quality supermarket streaky bacon. Secondly, a bit of a health and safety tip. To make these, we're going to be cutting and handling fresh chilies, so you might want to consider wearing gloves to do this. If, like me, you find that gloves can interfere with your manual dexterity, you've just got to remember a couple of golden rules. 1. Once you've been handling chilies, do not touch your face, rub your eyes, scratch an itch, and for pity's sake do not go to the loo without thoroughly washing your hands first, or you could be in for a painful surprise. 2. Remember that capsaicin, which is the stuff in chilies that makes them hot, is not water soluble. That means that washing your hands with soap and water alone probably won't wash the hot stuff away. So, my top tip is to turn on the tap to let it run warm, and while the tap's running, thoroughly rub a little cooking oil, about 1 to 2 teaspoons, into your hands. Once you've done that, repeat the process with a little hand soap or washing up liquid. Only then should you rinse your hands under the tap. Once your hands are free of all traces of the cooking oil, they should also be free of the capsaicin, and you should be able to carry on with your life as normal. Well, that's enough of me gassing, so let's get on with making our jalapeno poppers. Start off by taking a small, sharp knife and cutting lengthways almost the full length of the jalapeno down one side only, leaving the tip and the stalk end intact. Then, make a second cut at 90 degrees to the first, a little away from the stalk end, so that you've cut a capital T shape into the pepper. Next, open up the cuts that you have made and, using something that is quite small and has an edge but is blunt, like a butter knife or the handle of a teaspoon, scrape out as many of the seeds as you can. It's not vital to get 100% of the seeds out, but the more you get out, the better. Don't be too enthusiastic when you're doing this. You don't want to damage the flesh of the chili. What we're aiming for is to hollow out the chili, leaving a pocket that we can then stuff with the cream cheese. I find it's easy to carry out each step on all my chilies before moving on to the next step, but do whatever works for you. Here, I'm just going to do one to demonstrate, and then I'll crack on and get the rest done with the camera turned off. Once we've de-seeded our chilies, it's time to stuff them. Take a knife, the sort that you use to butter bread, and, using a spreading action, fill the chilies with cream cheese. Don't be stingy here, we want to try and fill the hollow in the chili with the cream cheese. If you get a little over generous, you can just wipe off any excess with your finger. Right, well you can see that a little time has passed and I've now got a goodly number of jalapenos de-seeded and stuffed with cream cheese. It's now time to decide whether they're going to be vegetarian or non-vegetarian. And I'm going to show you both. For For vegetarian poppers, simply rub the jalapenos with a little oil so that the skins glisten and our seasoning will stick. Then, and this is where the magic happens, apply a little of my Fat Daniel's Dixie Dust all-purpose seasoning and they're ready for the grill. For non-vegetarian poppers, starting at the stalk end and stretching the bacon slightly so that it grips and sticks to the skin of the jalapeno, wrap the pepper with a rasher of bacon. I generally don't season non-vegetarian poppers as I find the bacon contains enough salt to give the poppers all the seasoning they need. Whether you're making vegetarian or non-vegetarian jalapeno poppers, everything I've shown you so far can be done well in advance, and the poppers cooked when you're ready for them. If you're preparing your poppers in advance, store them in the fridge until you're ready to cook them so that the cheese stays firm and doesn't seep out of the peppers. This is one occasion where you don't want to let your food come up to room temperature before putting it on the grill. So with our poppers all prepared, we're ready to cook them. Place them on the barbecue grill over a direct medium to high heat. They'll need turning once or twice in the cooking process before they're ready to eat. Vegetarian poppers are ready when the skins of the jalapeno are uniformly blackened and blistered, the flesh of the pepper is soft, and the cheese is starting to bubble out of the slit. Non-vegetarian poppers are ready when the bacon is browned and crisp, the flesh of the jalapeno is soft, and the cheese is bubbling. Oh boy, now do they look good. Let's give them a try. Oh yeah, now that's good. Certainly gets the Fat Daniel's seal of approval. Creamy, spicy goodness that's just so Moorish. Well, I'm going to leave you now so I can indulge myself in a few more of these jalapeno poppers. I hope you enjoy yours. See you next time at fatdaniels.co.uk. Good food, good times. Fat Daniels.